Hi there, this is my first ever video for the teachers community, specifically and generally for anyone who logged on and just want to watch this video. I know we are going through one of the, or maybe the most toughest time of our lives, because many of us have no idea really what a pandemic is. And we don't know much about the disasters of the Spanish flu or the plague or the cholera. What we know today is COVID 19. So we all are having a situation where we have to be locked down in our houses, keep a distance, wash your hands on regular basis, and let me tell you that's really important. So please, wherever you are, in whichever part of the world, please listen to the doctor's advice and what they are saying about keeping social distance. So the world is changing. And when it comes to the schools and students and teachers, it's changed a lot because most of the advanced societies have gone to the rather switched to the online education and teaching online, but there are still thousands who do not have access to the internet, so they can not really get benefit from the online education. So, different areas in different schools, the teachers are sending them home assignments in form of pressy writing or in the written form. Being a educationist or working for more than almost it's been 15 years I've been into the education profession and primarily running educational projects, and the second part of this experience was training the teachers. So I've been representing some leading training providers around and visiting 25, 30 cities, conducting training workshops for the teachers and the management of the schools and colleges, the school owners, really sharing with them the ideas how to run a school successfully. The teachers training part, of course, is quite diversified from the toddlers level to the higher level, and then there was the variation of subjects, how to teach effective mathematics, how to effectively teach science or the social sciences, and above all, how to teach English, especially as a second language, because I am not a native English speaker, so I learned it, and then I thought I would be the best one to really help those who have some other native language, some other mother tongue, but they need to progress in the English language. So while going through these days of distress and depression and disappointments and fear of unknown, well, that's all natural. Because whenever you switch on your TV, there's new news going on about coronavirus and its damaging effects on humanity. So one can really not live without it. You cannot just switch off the TV and stay away from it. But what you can do is you can divide your time in much more positive activities like playing with your children, doing some exercise, and everyone is trying to serve humanity in one's own way. So for me, the best way was to transfer the knowledge and information which I have gathered all through these years of hardships and experience with you guys, so that it may benefit Even if it benefits any single one out there, I would take it as as my service to humanity during this crucial time. So I decided to go through some courses for the teachers. Like the first one I picked is communication skills, effective communication skills for teachers. The mechanism would be very simple. I would daily be sharing one video for you guys, and you can take notes, and I would attach my email address. So if you want to discuss something, you can email me, or you can just write your question in the comments where you are watching the video in the YouTube. As a teacher, you face almost continual talk at school, supplemented by ample amount of non-verbal communication, gestures, facial expressions, and other body language. Very simple, how you move about in the classroom, how you go to the students, and how you interact with them. Okay? Often the talk involves many people at once. Sometimes all the students are really, trying to talk something, and the teacher is like getting nothing at all. Or even an entire class is making some noise. Actually, they want to talk to you. And individuals have to take turns speaking while also listening to others, having their turns, or sometimes ignoring the others if a conversation does not concern them. So, the gist of today's session is have a planned communication task. Okay, that whatever, even if you are these days teaching online, please plan and prepare your communication tasks, that how you need to start, what should be the content, what should be the procedure, what should be your behavior while you're talking to your students. Although it's a little bit different from having a virtual class or having a class online. So as teacher, therefore, you find yourself playing different roles in the class and while you are communicating with the students. For example, sometimes you are just a sole, a talker talking to the students and audience, and sometimes you are playing the role of a judge where there is a, dispute between the students or conversation going on. It turns into a hot argument. Then the teacher needs to be playing the role of a judge. So, as I always believe that a very good, effective teacher has to be really a very good actor. Why? Because there is one common thing, and that is both of them actually are facing an audience, and both of them are in front of an audience and using the stage. So, you need to know your role as a teacher, and then you need to know the most important thing, what is the content. Okay, I'll come to the content later. By the way, you can take notes if you want to take notes, or some points if you want to write, you can always write. As a teacher, therefore, you find yourself in a challenging position when you are in the classroom talking to the students. Your challenge is to sort the roles out so that you are playing the right ones in the right combinations at the right times. So, what is required of you inside the classroom? Often you will indeed be more sincere and more brief, more concise, and you will find that minimizing power differences between you and student is a good idea. Because if you are having power differences between you and the students, that's a big barrier. So you must know, if it is in your classroom, how to break the ice, how to get hold of that barrier. Classroom events are often so complex that just talking with students can become confusing. It helps to think of the challenge as a problem in communication. Or, as one expert put it, if I remember, his name was Laswell back in 1964, he says that what, to whom, and with what effect is really important. So, whatever you are going to say in the classroom or talk about in the classroom has to be purposeful. It has to have some effect on the students' minds. If not, then it's all really useless. That's a wastage of time. In classrooms, things often do not happen at an even pace or in a logical order. Sometimes you might have planned a lot of things, but when you are, it happened with me a lot of times that whenever I plan something and I go to the school and enter the classroom, I find that there is a lot of different things coming up to me, different challenges, and my plan really I have to put the plan aside. Things don't work. So I have to be really smart enough to handle that situation. So in a classroom, sometimes things are under control and go as per your plans, but sometimes they do not. So one needs to, that's where I say that you need to really plan out your communication, planning out the talk which you need to do in your classroom so that the audience, your students, are fully focused and fully concentrated to what you want to tell them or explain to them. And since in the schools there are different subjects, so for example, you are teaching science, so that needs to be planned and properly in the written form, so that when you go inside the classroom, you know that what time you have at your hands and how you can manage that time using your communication skills. So that you can only do if you have a planned format of your talk, your communication. So coming short, making it short, the first thing I would like to stress upon is the content. The content talk focuses on what is being learned. It happens when a teacher or student states or asks about an idea or concept. For example, or when someone explains or elaborates on some bit of a new knowledge, new concept, you're giving a new concept, okay? So the talk content, your content talk would really be focusing and emphasizing on what is being learned, right? So do not miss it. Usually content talk relates in some obvious way to the curriculum or to current learning objectives. So what is your objective? You are teaching them history, or you are teaching them science, or you are teaching them English, or whatever subject is there, whatever the topic is, you have to really be careful that the content of your talk must relate with the objectives of your lesson today, or whatever you want them to learn about. Because this, if it deviates from the objective, then the output would really be below your expectations. Because your output has to be in relevance with what objective you have set for that particular conversation or particular communication with your students. Okay? So, the first thing to note down is your content. The content talk can also deviate from the current learning objectives, and that would be a disaster. Your content talk must be according to the objective which you have set for your communication with the students. The second point that I want you to stress upon is procedural talk. Procedural talk, as its name implies, is about administrative rules you set or routines needed to accomplish tasks in a classroom. It happens, for example, when the teacher says, when you have done your class assignment, please raise your hand. So that this is a procedure. You are actually conveying them a procedure of doing things. Okay? Or if a student raises hand and asks, teacher, can I put my name on this assignment? And you say, yes, you can put your name or you. Otherwise, you say you don't know, you don't need to put your name. Now, this is the procedure. So, this part of the communication is procedural. The first part I'm recalling was the content. What is the content of your communication? And the content, remember, has to be in relation with the objectives of your communication, of your classroom teaching. The second is the procedural talk. Now, the procedural talk, the teacher has to tell certain rules and procedures, or giving the answers to some of the questions that relate to the procedures of the communication. So that is the procedural part. The procedural talk provides information that students need to coordinate their activities in what can be relatively crowded space. Normally, there are a lot of students in the class, so the procedures really help the students as well as the teacher to perform their role in a more organized way, okay, in a more formulated and structured fashion so that things go smoothly. So that's really important. So you have to set the rules of your classroom. That is the procedure. Procedural talk is not primarily about removing or correcting unwanted behavior. Although certain administrative procedures might sometimes annoy a particular student, or students might sometimes forget to follow the procedures, but be patient. Take time. It is intended to provide the guidance that students need to coordinate with each other and with the teacher. So do not lose your patience. The rules and the procedures need precision. So the next day, you will again be focusing on the procedural talk, and with the repetition, things will surely be settled down and they would know how to behave in a classroom. And this is basically the procedures are helpful in controlling the behavior, overall general behavior of your classroom. The next is, note down the next, which is the control talk. It is about preventing or correcting misbehaviors when they occur, particularly when misbehaviors are not because of ignorance or procedures, but it can happen. For example, a lot of students, and if you haven't set a rule that a student, when needs to talk to another student, gets permission from the teacher, then it happens a lot that they start talking with each other. They start gossiping, or maybe, laughing at each other, and they do a lot of things like that. Here, you have to control, you have to apply your control talk. And the control talk is really important, because if you could not control them, then you would really, it would be really hard for you all through the next classes or session to have a disciplined classroom, because there are a lot of things, concepts which need their concentration and focus on the teacher. So most of the control talk originates with the teacher, but students sometimes engage in it with each other, if not with the teacher. One student may look at a different from a different angle, the other may have a different angle, they might have a dispute with each other, and so the argument, they just come up with an argument which needs to be quietly controlled to run smoothly with your course plans. The last but not the least, most important function as a teacher is your ability to combine these functions. What can make classroom discourse confusing is that two of its functions, content and procedure, often become combined with a third, control talk. Remember, we have gone through content, procedure, and the control talk. For example, a teacher may ask a content related question as a form of a control talk. Or, let me put a question to you. For example, she asked David, what did you think of the movie which we just saw? Or what would you think of the passage which I was just reading to you? The question is apparently about content, but the teacher may also be trying to add his uh, daydreaming or his um, unfocused attention towards you, and that is basically the control talk. So it's an example where the teacher is trying to basically focus on the content, the concept she is given, and simultaneously it's a control talk because this question particularly is used to draw that particular student's attention towards the teacher. Okay, so you need to really balance and understand the structure of the communication. Structure of questions is really important. The teacher may state a rule: when one person is talking, others need to be listening. Now, this is a very simple rule, but students hardly, follow this rule. The rule is this is a procedural rule in that it helps to coordinate the classroom dialogue, but it may also control. You are now. I hope you are understanding that this is procedural. That when one is talking, the others listen to him. Basically, the teacher is telling the procedure, a rule, but it's helping in controlling the general environment and discipline of the classroom, general behavior of the students. So, today's, while summing it up, the communication skills, remember to note down your content of your talk, procedural talk, phrase the questions, especially for the teachers whose language is not English and they have to teach in English. It's very important that please speak the correct form of English in the classroom. Do not at all worry about your accent or your pronunciation. That comes later. So for now, 3 points. Remember your content talk, your procedural talk, and your control talk. Stay safe, stay blessed. Do not forget to keep social distancing. Do not forget to wash your hands regularly. Do not forget to sanitize your doorknobs or your laptop or computer or the things which you are frequently using these days. And if you like this video and you want to move along with the course, you're always welcome anytime, and you can use my email address for having a communication. And if you email me, I'll be giving you my Skype or FB account. We can really chat there. And uh, the last line is, may God bless you all. Thank you very much. Stay safe.